Hello, my name is Katherine Golden, and today I will be explaining what evolution is, how it works, and why it is one of the most important ideas in all of biology. Most people think that evolution is just the idea that humans came from monkeys, but that's actually a misunderstanding. Evolution helps us identify how organisms change over time. It explains why life came about, how animals are better equipped to live in their environment, and even how they change over time. So, what is evolution? Evolution is the change in genetic characteristics of a population over many generations. So, how they change, how they form, what better equips them to live in this environment, how they can outlive certain factors. It's important to understand that individual organisms do not evolve, only the populations evolve over time. Evolution happens because individuals are born with different traits. These traits can better help them survive, and then those successful traits actually carry on through the offspring. Their successful traits get passed on, leading them to live longer and better, and then those that don't get those traits soon to die off. Over a long period of time, though, these changes can help form completely new species. So next, let's talk about the difference between microevolution and macroevolution. Microevolution is small changes within a small period of time. These changes can be anywhere between bacteria becoming resistant to antibiotics. It can even be change in fur color to better suit where they live, or the changes that are happening in a city or a population, things like that. Those are going to be caused because of things like natural selection, mutations, or even genetic drift, a change in the DNA. Now, macroevolution is a large-scale change over a way longer period of time, leading to completely new species. And it can even cause extinction in some animals, which obviously happens way slower. Some examples of these could be like birds coming from dinosaurs. That took thousands of years to happen. Now we have birds and we don't have dinosaurs. Or it can even be how whales came from land mammals. So long periods of time, big changes, completely new animals. One of the most important concepts of evolution is natural selection, and it was actually described by the famous scientist Charles Darwin. Natural selection means that organisms with traits that help them survive reproduce more, or they are more likely to reproduce those to their offsprings, and so forth in the next generations. The four main concepts of natural selection are going to be variation, overproduction, adaptation, and descent with modification, so change in the DNA. Helpful traits become more common over time because more offsprings are getting them, and then they continue to reproduce those. An example of that would be like giraffes. Giraffes with the longer necks are able to reach higher branches to get more food, more nourishment, longer survival rate. Those reproduce and continue. So giraffes' necks are continuously getting longer to reach more and to get more food. And then that's actually a form of natural selection happening. So what is the role of adaptation and how does it affect evolution? Well, adaptation is the trait that helps an organism survive and reproduce in its environment. Adaptations can be structural, behavioral, or even psychological. Adaptations are important because they increase the chances of organisms surviving. These are the traits that natural selection acts on. So over time, adaptations shape how species live. Without adaptations, animals wouldn't be able to live in climate shifts, new predators, or even new diseases. They can't avoid them, they don't change. So here are some real world examples of evolution. It could be peppered moths. Peppered moths used to be really light. Well, then the Industrial Revolution happened and trees became darker. Well, these moths weren't surviving with these dark trees because predators found them. So the darker ones were able to better camouflage, and then those traits get passed on. Now the population has changed from more light to more dark. Another one would be just bacteria becoming resistant to antibiotics. Over time, mutations happen, these offsprings get them, and then that medication no longer works. To conclude this, Evolution is the process by which species change over time, over generations, through genetic variation and natural selection. Evolution is supported by massive scientific evidence and explains why species are diverse, how organisms fit in certain environments so well, and how life on Earth has changed over billions of years. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you now have a better concept on evolution.